Warning, warning, 9 things you should never receive from anyone forever. Zen Buddhist teachings. Not everything given with good intentions brings good energy. We've been taught to be grateful for every gift, to welcome what others offer with open hands. But what if I told you, some things, even gifted with love, can silently poison your life? In Zen Buddhism, we're reminded, not all that appears kind is harmless. Every object carries energy. And when you receive something from someone, even something as simple as a ring or a book, you may unknowingly invite their pain, their fear, their unresolved karma into your own space. Imagine this. You inherit a beautiful antique mirror, its frame carved with intricate care. But every time you pass it, your heart sinks a little. You feel watched, heavy, off. You don't know why, but something feels wrong. This isn't superstition. This is energy, subtle but potent. The kind that lingers in objects long after hands have changed. In today's video, we'll dive into 9 seemingly innocent things you should never receive from anyone, no matter how close they are to you. You'll learn how each item absorbs energy, and how, if you're not careful, it can erode your peace from within. Stick with me until the end, because what you don't know could already be living in your home. Salt, the silent guardian of energy. It sits quietly in your kitchen. A pinch here, a sprinkle there. Salt seems like nothing more than a seasoning. But in the world of Zen and ancient spiritual wisdom, salt is far more than flavor. It is protection. It is purification. It is memory. Let me tell you about a small coastal village in Japan. 4 generations, families there performed a simple ritual every new moon. They would scatter salt across the thresholds of their homes, not to ward off wild animals or trespassers, but to protect against unseen forces. It wasn't fear, it was respect. Respect for the subtle currents of energy that move through space, people, and objects. One day, a traveler ignored this custom. He brought salt from a stranger's home, thinking it was all the same. Within days, tensions rose in his household. Sleepless nights, unexplained arguments. The salt, it turned out, had absorbed more than minerals. It had carried emotional weight from its previous keeper. This might sound like myth, but even in modern psychology, we're learning about emotional contagion. The transfer of mood and emotion simply through shared space or objects. Salt, being highly absorbent physically, may also act as an energetic sponge. And Zen Buddhism teaches us this. Everything that touches us, material or immaterial, leaves an imprint. So how do we care for salt beyond the body? You cleanse it, just like you would your mind. Place it under sunlight. Let the warmth and clarity of the sun recharge its purity. Dissolve it in water and pour it into the earth, returning it to nature to begin again. Or let the sound of a bell ring over it, breaking up any stagnant vibrations held within. You can also combine salt with crystals like clear quartz or selenite. These act as amplifiers of cleansing energy, transforming ordinary salt into a sacred tool. This is not superstition. This is mindfulness. A quiet, ancient wisdom that asks us to treat even the smallest things with reverence. Because the salt you use to flavor your food may also be flavoring the energy of your home. So the next time you reach for that salt shaker, pause. Ask yourself, what energy has this absorbed? And what am I about to invite in? To live mindfully is to recognize that nothing is neutral, not even a grain of salt. Books, vessels of wisdom and emotion. Books are sacred. We reach for them when we seek truth, comfort, understanding. They hold the voices of those who've lived before us, their stories, their insights, and sometimes their sorrows. In Zen Buddhism, awareness extends beyond words. It reaches into silence, into presence, into the invisible energy imprinted on things we touch. Books, especially those passed down or found secondhand, are more than just pages. They are carriers of energy. Take the story of Hero, a quiet man who collected old books from flea markets. One day, he found a rare, worn volume tucked between cracked leather covers. Something about it felt magnetic. But soon after bringing it home, Hero began to feel unsettled. His sleep became restless. He felt watched, disoriented. Eventually, he discovered that the book had once belonged to a man who had suffered deep loss. The pages, still bearing faint pencil marks, had absorbed years of grief. This is not fantasy. In both Buddhism and modern neuroscience, we now understand that objects can act as emotional anchors, subtly triggering our nervous system based on their past associations. In many traditions, sacred texts are treated with reverence. In Buddhist monasteries, sutras are placed on elevated platforms, not just out of respect, but to keep their energy clear. In Hinduism, the Vedas are kept wrapped in clean cloth, never allowed to touch the ground. These are not rituals of form. They are rituals of awareness. So how can we apply this sacred care to the books in our own homes? Start simply. Place your books in sunlight for a few hours. It's nature's way of clearing stagnant energy. Or wave cleansing incense, like sandalwood or sage, gently around them. Let the smoke carry away what no longer belongs. You can also use sound. A bell rung softly near the spine of the book, or the hum of a singing bowl, can break up the energy imprints that linger. And if you're especially sensitive, place crystals like selenite or clear quartz on your shelves. They act like quiet guardians, filtering what your eyes cannot see. Books are more than information. They are transmissions, not just of knowledge, but of energy, intention, emotion. So the next time you pick up a second-hand novel or an old journal, pause, hold it gently. Ask yourself, what story lives here, beyond the words on the page? To live mindfully means choosing not just what we read, but what we invite into our mental and energetic space. Because even a book can whisper something your soul is not ready to hear. Plants, more than greenery. They listen, they absorb, they reflect. We often think of plants as decor, little green touches to brighten a space. But in Zen and many indigenous traditions, plants are not background. They are participants. They observe. They feel. They hold. Every plant in your home is silently responding to your environment, taking in what you release, and sometimes, what others have left behind. Consider the story of a family who brought home a beautiful potted plant. It was lush, vibrant, almost too perfect. At first, it lit up the room. But soon, things shifted. Tension began rising between the couple. Small arguments turned sharp. The atmosphere grew heavy. Eventually, they learned the plant had come from a space where much grief had occurred, an elderly woman's home, filled with unresolved pain. The plant had carried that energy like a sponge. Zen Buddhism teaches us that everything is connected, and everything that lives responds. Plants, being living beings, are especially sensitive to the energies of the spaces they inhabit. Just as they absorb sunlight and water, they also absorb emotions. Conflict, peace, joy, fear. In feng shui, certain plants are said to attract fortune or ward off negative energy. In Native American practices, sage and cedar are used in rituals to cleanse and bless spaces. Even modern science is exploring how plants respond to human intention, sound, and touch. So, how do we care for our plants not just as organisms, but as energetic companions? Start by gently wiping their leaves, removing dust, yes, but also energetically clearing residue. Mist them with water infused with calming oils like lavender or eucalyptus. Let them soak in real sunlight, not just for growth, but for renewal. Sound also plays a role. Ring a bell softly near your plants, or use a singing bowl. The vibrations help break up any heaviness they've taken in. And crystals, such as amethyst or clear quartz, placed near their roots or in the soil, can offer gentle protection. Even repotting a plant can be symbolic. It's not just about giving it more room. It's a fresh start. A way to release what no longer serves and invite in fresh energy. Plants are mirrors. They often reflect not just the light in the room, but the energy in your heart. So the next time a leaf droops, or a plant refuses to thrive, ask yourself, what has this plant been feeling in my presence? To live mindfully is to honor all life, not just with water and light, but with attention and respect. Because in Zen, even the smallest leaf can become a teacher, if you're willing to listen. Locks, guardians of space, or keepers of residual energy. Locks protect. They're the unseen sentinels that guard our homes, our rooms, even our secrets. But what if those same locks, especially second-hand ones, carry more than just rusted metal? What if they carry the energy of what they once kept inside? Zen teaches us that energy clings. It doesn't vanish with time. It lingers in places, objects, memories. And locks by nature are designed to hold, to seal, to restrict, to remember. There's a story from an old town on the outskirts of Kyoto. A young couple moved into a traditional home and decided to reuse the old locks passed down by a distant relative. Not long after, they began to experience strange misfortunes. Doors jamming unexpectedly. Dreams filled with anxiety. A constant feeling of being closed in. They later discovered that those very locks had once been used in a household marked by betrayal, fear, and long-held resentment. The locks had held more than doors. They had held trauma. In spiritual traditions across the world, locks are more than hardware. In folk rituals, they represent binding, of energy, of intention, of fate. In some cultures, lovers lock their commitment to bridges or trees. In others, a lock is buried to symbolically seal a spell or wish. It's no surprise that Zen reminds us, everything physical carries its own imprint. So how do we ensure the locks in our lives are protectors, not prisoners of the past? Begin with salt. Rubbing a lock with salt and rinsing it under water can help release stagnant energy. Simple but powerful. Expose the lock to sunlight, a natural purifier that breaks up what lingers in shadow. Ring a bell or a singing bowl nearby. The vibrations shake loose the unseen. Even crystals like black tourmaline or obsidian can be placed near entrances to absorb heavy energy and create a field of protection. But perhaps the most important cleansing is intention. Every time you lock a door, ask yourself, am I securing peace, or sealing in fear. Because locks don't just guard from the outside world. They also reflect what we're trying to keep hidden within. Living mindfully means recognizing when a lock offers safety, and when it becomes a symbol of spiritual stagnation. So the next time you turn your key, pause. Feel what that lock is holding, and choose to let go of what no longer needs to be kept. Mirrors, reflections of light, or echoes of what lingers. A mirror is supposed to show you the truth. But what if the truth it shows isn't yours? In Zen Buddhism, the mirror is a powerful symbol. It represents awareness, clarity, but also illusion. A mirror doesn't just reflect your face. It reflects energy, your thoughts, your moods, the unseen presence of what's been around it. Let me share the story of Kenji. He was drawn to an antique mirror at a street market. Its frame was elegant, carved with vines that seemed to dance in the sunlight. He brought it home, proud of his find. But days later, something shifted. The room felt heavier. Kenji began waking in the middle of the night, filled with thoughts that weren't his. A quiet unease grew. Later, he discovered the mirror had once belonged to a widow who had spent years in grief, often sitting alone, staring into it, whispering to someone no longer there. That mirror didn't just reflect, it absorbed, and it carried her sorrow like a silent witness. This isn't fantasy, it's energetic imprinting. Modern studies have shown that environments, and the objects within them, can influence our mood, cognition, even dreams. In Zen, this is intuitive truth. Objects remember. In Feng Shui, mirrors are considered portals, tools that redirect or amplify energy. If placed improperly, they can bounce negativity back into a space, or even draw in outside disharmony. In temples, mirrors are used with great care, always cleansed with ritual and intention. So, how can you ensure that the mirrors in your life reflect peace, not pain? First, smudge them. Burn sage or Palo Santo and gently let the smoke encircle the glass, especially the corners. These areas tend to hold the most stagnant energy. Second, use sound. Ring a bell or let the vibration of a singing bowl ripple through the space. Sound dislodges what silence traps. Third, protect them. Place a piece of black tourmaline or clear quartz near the base of the mirror. It filters energy passively, like a spiritual air purifier. And perhaps most importantly, check the intention behind every mirror in your home. Is it there for beauty, for vanity, or for clarity? In Zen, the ultimate mirror is the mind, pure, unclouded, unattached. But until we reach that inner stillness, our outer mirrors must be chosen and treated with care. So the next time you gaze into one, ask not just what you see, but who or what might be looking back. Clothing. What you wear may be wearing you. Clothes tell stories of who we are, where we've been, what we wish to express. But what if the fabric you wear also whispers the untold stories of someone else's suffering? In Zen, awareness is not abstract. It is embodied. Everything that touches your skin touches your spirit too. Emmy, a woman who adored vintage fashion, once found a beautiful dress in a thrift store. It was delicate, flowing, just her style. But every time she wore it, she felt off balance, anxious, vulnerable. Her sleep was disturbed, her thoughts unclear. Later, she found out the dress had belonged to someone who had endured deep emotional trauma. It made sense. The dress had absorbed it all, and passed it on, thread by thread. This might sound like superstition, but think about it. Have you ever put on an outfit and suddenly felt different? Lighter, heavier, more emotional than usual? Science calls it enclothed cognition. How what we wear affects how we feel and act. Zen calls it karma in fabric form. Across cultures, clothing holds profound symbolism. In African traditions, ceremonial garments are worn to channel ancestral protection. In Buddhism, robes represent renunciation, discipline, and devotion. In Hinduism, white garments are worn in meditation to signify purity. So it's not just what the clothing looks like. It's the energy it carries. How do we care for clothing not just as fashion, but as energetic extensions of ourselves? Wash them mindfully. Add a pinch of salt to the wash. Visualize it clearing emotional residue, not just stains. Let them dry in sunlight. Not only does it freshen the fabric, it recharges its energy. Sunlight is nature's purifier, ancient and ever-present. Ring a bell near your wardrobe. Let the sound ripple through your clothes like wind through trees. And if you wear second-hand or inherited garments, be especially intentional. Smudge them. Hold them with awareness. Even place calming crystals, like amethyst or selenite, near your closet to act as energetic buffers. To live mindfully means to ask, is this mine to carry? Or am I walking around in someone else's emotional skin? Clothes don't just cover us. They influence us. Quietly, deeply. So the next time you pull something over your shoulders, pause. Feel it. And choose not just based on style, but based on peace. Mattresses, where the body rests, but the energy may not. Sleep is sacred. It's where the body restores, and the mind resets. But what if your bed, your supposed sanctuary, is quietly echoing someone else's unrest? In Zen, we're taught to pay attention to where the body touches the world. The ground we walk on, the cushions we sit on, and the mattresses where we surrender ourselves for hours each night. Let me tell you about Aiko. She bought a second-hand mattress, barely used, in excellent condition. It seemed like a smart decision. But soon, she began waking at odd hours. Her dreams were fragmented. Her energy, depleted. Her heart, heavy for no apparent reason. After speaking with a Buddhist monk, she learned the mattress had once belonged to a man battling depression and insomnia. The mattress had become an archive, soaking up his restlessness, his sorrow, night after night. We forget. The body isn't the only thing that sleeps. Energy sleeps too, until it's stirred. In many traditional practices, the bed is more than furniture. It's a temple of rest. In Chinese medicine, the bedroom is considered one of the most energetically sensitive areas in the home. And in Zen, where silence speaks louder than words, what you sleep on becomes part of your consciousness. So how can we care for our mattresses beyond thread count and comfort? First, sunlight. Expose your mattress to the sun regularly, if only for an hour near a window. Let light do what it's always done. Cleanse without judgment. Next, salt. Sprinkle sea salt across the surface. Leave it for a few hours, then vacuum it off. Salt absorbs what you can't name. It neutralizes what words can't reach. Sound, too, is your ally. Use a singing bowl or softly ring a bell above the mattress. Let the vibrations ripple through, dislodging stagnant impressions. And if your rest still feels disturbed, try placing crystals like amethyst or smoky quartz under the bed or at each corner. These stones don't just sit, they guard. Most importantly, bring intention to your sleep space. Bless your bed before rest. Thank it in the morning. These are not superstitions. They are rituals of remembrance. To live mindfully is to sleep consciously. Because every night, we lie down not just on foam or springs, but on the accumulated energy of all our past nights. And maybe someone else's too. So tonight, when you lie back and close your eyes, ask yourself, is this rest mine, or borrowed from someone else's unrest? Wallets and purses, carriers of cash, or containers of karma. A wallet is personal. It holds your money, your ID, maybe a photo of someone you love. But it also holds something deeper, something few ever consider, energetic residue. In Zen, we're taught that how you relate to money reflects how you relate to life. Money isn't just currency. It's energy in motion. And the vessel that holds it matters. Let me share Hannah's story. She received a wallet from a well-meaning friend. Elegant, barely used. But within weeks, she started experiencing unexpected financial strain. Late bills. Clients backing out. A heavy, persistent sense of scarcity. Eventually, she discovered that her friend had gone through a long period of debt and emotional anxiety tied to money. That energy of lack, fear, and desperation had seeped into the very fibers of the wallet. You see, a wallet doesn't just carry money. It carries money stories. And not all of them are yours. Many cultures instinctively understand this. In Japan, it's customary to gift a wallet with a coin inside, to symbolize financial flow. In feng shui, the color and shape of a wallet are chosen carefully to attract prosperity. In Zen, it's about energetic cleanliness, keeping the channels of giving and receiving open, clear, and aligned. So how do we cleanse and care for something as personal as a wallet? Start with sunlight. Place your wallet or purse in direct sunlight for a few hours. Let it drink in clarity, warmth, and renewal. Then, try salt. Place a small bowl of sea salt inside the wallet overnight. The next morning, dispose of the salt gratefully, as it will have absorbed any residual negativity. Sound works too. Ring a bell near your wallet or gently tap a singing bowl. Let the vibrations rewire the energetic pattern. Crystals can also support you. Citrine and green aventurine are known for attracting abundance. Place a small piece inside or beside your wallet, not as superstition, but as a symbolic ally. But more important than all this is your relationship with what your wallet represents. Every time you open it, pause. Give thanks, not for the amount inside, but for the flow of life it signifies. Abundance begins not with having, but with how you hold. So the next time you reach for your wallet, ask yourself, is this helping me receive, or is it still echoing someone else's fear of loss? Because in the end, your wealth isn't just what you spend, it's what you invite. And what you energetically carry matters. Conclusion: cleanse what you cannot see, and you will feel what you could not before. Mirrors, salt, mattresses, wallets, locks, jewelry, clothing, books, and plants. Each of these objects touches your life daily. But here's what most never realize: they also touch your energy. In Zen, we don't just clean what's visible. We cleanse what lingers, what sticks to the edges of our awareness, quietly shaping our emotions, thoughts, and well-being. You might not remember who used that old mirror before you, or the emotional weight someone left behind in the mattress you now sleep on. But your body remembers. Your energy field absorbs. And your life, your peace, your clarity, responds. This is not about superstition. It's about mindfulness. It's about reclaiming authorship over your space, your energy, and your story. Each object you own is either a silent supporter of your well-being, or a quiet saboteur. The difference lies in whether you choose to become aware of it. So start small. Let the sun cleanse what your hands cannot. Let salt absorb what your heart doesn't need to carry anymore. Let sound retune the frequency of your home. Let intention be the thread that binds peace into the fabric of your life. Because your surroundings are not just places you exist in. They are extensions of your inner world. Treat them with care, and you will feel the shift, like fog lifting from a still pond. The Buddha once said, "Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts." Now imagine what unguarded objects might be doing. So here's your invitation. Look around. Feel deeply. Cleanse consciously. And begin again. Because this isn't just about protecting your space. It's about honoring your journey. With awareness, with intention, and with the quiet wisdom of Zen.